Speaker, I wish we weren't here today. I really wish we weren't. I wish this bill was not necessary, but it is. And our hearts, all of us, go out to the folks of Flint, Michigan. The system let them down at every level, and that is, frankly, unacceptable. All folks want is the peace of mind that their governments are looking out for their best interest and their water is safe. This bill is a first step. Imagine if you went to draw a cup of cold water from your kitchen faucet and suddenly had to think about whether it's safe to drink or not. Now put yourself into the shoes of a parent whose son or daughter has already taken a drink from that faucet or made coffee or infant formula. What health risk has your child already been exposed to? What do we do now? How can we expect a family to live day to day without safe drinking water? And after all those initial concerns, you begin asking yourself, how is that situation possible in the 21st century in the United States of America? We've been seeking answers to that question from EPA, from the state of Michigan, and from others. But in the meantime, we know that part of the answer, certainly not the whole story, is that there was a terrible breakdown in communication at every level of government. It is sickening, and it breaks your heart with thousands of kids who indeed could be at risk, being poisoned from faucets that they thought were safe. Government officials knew there was a serious cause for concern and failed to inform the people of Flint. And many of those officials did not even seem to be effectively communicating and sharing data among themselves. The EPA regional office was not telling headquarters about everything. The state was not telling EPA everything. And we don't know yet what the city of Flint was telling the state or EPA. That's got to be fixed. It's got to be fixed now. The Safe Drinking Water Act, Improved Compliance Awareness Act, ensures that the public learns of excessive lead levels in their drinking water by setting forth how and when states, EPA, and public water utilities communicate their findings. The bill also strengthens public notification rules when lead levels are exceeded. Individual consumers will be told when their own house tests positive for lead problems, and if the community or states fail to notify the public, EPA will step in and do so. They're required to do that. The bill also requires EPA to create a strategic plan for handling and improving information flow among water utilities, the states, EPA, and affected drinking water consumers before there is an enforceable lead exceedance in drinking water. Let me repeat that, before lead levels get too high. Finally, this bipartisan bill requires consumer notification when water being transported in a lead pipe is so corrosive that, in fact, it could leach into public drinking water. I want to thank all members of the House for their support, especially my Michigan colleagues, every one of which from both parties signed as an original co-sponsor of this legislation. I want to particularly thank Mr. Kildee, a friend who led this effort. I thank my colleagues on the Energy and Commerce Committee, particularly Frank Pallone, John Shimkus, and Paul Tonko, for their advice, collaboration, and support. And I also want to thank McCarthy, two McCarthys. Kevin McCarthy for scheduling this at almost a moment's notice, and my lead counsel on this legislation, Dave McCarthy, who helped write and improve the bill as originally introduced. What is said on this floor today will not do anything to ease the mind of a parent in Flint. The entire situation breaks your heart, but we have a responsibility working together as Republicans and Democrats to fix the problem. This bill is an important step. I reserve the balance of